expected. But yes, there is a bit of swing around, but they're making sure that they test out that short ball. And they test it out again, and that has been played beautifully this time around. The swivel pull, and it's raced away.
And that will give Zadran some confidence. Remember, we saw a missed time pull from Jamshid Zadran in the previous over, one that nearly carried to the square leg fielder, but this time much, much better technically. You want to roll your wrists, don't you, on a pull shot? He swiveled on it. Concerned faces, very concerned faces up in that Afghan support staff. We've got a new keeper today as well, don't we, for New Zealand? You saw him there, Sam Claude, one of the 3 changes into the team today. He's taking the gloves instead of Alex Thompson, who did in the first game. They look really well drilled, don't they, New Zealand? Well coached, well led by Oscar Jack. Something of an anomaly given the quality of cricketers they've produced over the last couple of decades, Bazzi, that they've never really been in contention to win an Under-19 World Cup. In fact, coming into this tournament, they had a losing record, winning about 43% of their matches. Didn't play in 2022, that was COVID reasons. They have been exceptional this morning, and it's again their fast bowlers who are shining.
That is the perfect length when you're getting the ball to swing. Just offering him the drive and it just nips away. That's a beautiful delivery. And it went late, didn't go straight from the hand, though it makes it even more difficult for the batter to face. So opening burst, New Zealand have been spot on.
Just down the leg side. I just want to give you one set of numbers here, Bazzi. We've had 2 games so far. Coming into today, 34 wickets have fallen, 26 of those have gone to pace and 8 to spin. But the economy rate was Leicester, pace under 5, spinners going at 5.6. But critically, the strike rate. Fast bowlers are taking a wicket once every 22 deliveries, whereas the spinners are only striking once every 60 or so. And that's why New Zealand have had such success. It's because of their seamers, so impressive. 4 have been bowled, 23 for 2.
Bowler is ready.
All of our games here in Group D in East London, 10 a.m. starts, but because of the overhead conditions, we do have the floodlights on, and that's the state of play after a game apiece. Afghanistan are in real trouble, not just because of the fact they went down to a defeat in their opening game, but the margin of that defeat, a massive one. Mix up. Oh, if that could have been picked up cleanly by Cumming, I'm not sure why he went with the boot. This could have been a run-out opportunity.
Now this pressure just being shown with the Afghan batters as well. A mix-up almost resulting in a huge chance with the run-out. Interesting, in the infield, somebody using the boot. Normally you'd expect a little slide. That again, the short ball. You talked about this, Andrew, why even when the new ball swinging, they're bowling that short ball. The conditions you mentioned is the same pitch that was used a day before. Now with a slow pitch where the ball sort of doesn't come on to you that well, or sometimes it can be slightly too paced, one zips through and the other doesn't, the short ball becomes a very good option. because then to get on top of the short ball or to wait for, you sometimes have to wait for it. It becomes slightly difficult. Sometimes you think a quick pitch where there's a lot of bounce and zips through the short ball will be difficult to handle. But I reckon it's much more difficult to handle on a slow pitch where the ball's not coming on a few times and sometimes zip through. So you can't really know the exact pace with the short balls coming, not really trust the pitch as such. And then that hook pull shot becomes a problem.
Oh, no, that's gone a long way. Just gets his wrist behind the ball to the left-hand side of it. He's trying for the in-swinger, but not in that fashion. It's going to be 5, and 5 freebies to the total.
We've had a wide every over. And remember, New Zealand conceded 28 extras in their first game. Now we're into the 5th over and they conceded 9 wides. That one was 5 wide, so that's another little bit of a concern for New Zealand, although they played so well in that previous game.
Big appeal, but the umpire immediately indicates hip. And then, rather cheekily, the batter asks, wide ball? Just wondering if not, and a smile from umpire KN Anantha Padmanabhan. Good decision, I think, on first instinct. Maybe just a flick of the hip.
There is a noise. That's why New Zealand have gone up straight away. I think he's missed the bat and just clipped the shirt or just the hip as it goes through. Sohail was smiling away.
White ball.
This time it is given as a wide. Yeah, just a flick of the shirt, I suspect. Here's Oscar Jackson, the captain. These two know each other well. They're both out of Wellington College. So they're actually not just teammates in the New Zealand under-19s team, they're also schoolmates. And Swargas has been a real late developer. He really has. He wasn't even in the school first team a couple of years back. He soared into national contention. Very nicely driven, and what a pose. Hold that pose for 4.
That's a beautiful shot, but it's over pitch, and Zurmati just waited for it to come on. And when you hold the pose, that means your balance is perfect. That's a quality cover drive. And he's held it quite long. He's made sure that every photographer's got that picture.
Interesting over. End of the 5th. 34 for 2, the score. Bazzi, do you think he knows that the TV cameras and the Getty photographers are here?
I think he knows much more. I think he knows that TV cameras will get it straight away, but it's the photographers who just make sure they get the perfect shot.
Suspect that could be the new profile picture on his social media. For Zurmati, there's some of the Getty team doing a brilliant job. Johan, amongst everyone else. Been a remarkable amount of coverage of this tournament. It feels to me, Bazzi, I know you've been at events prior as a player and as a broadcaster. It feels to me as though things are kind of stepping up towards a new level for all of the ICC events, but particularly the Under-19 Women's World Cup, which was the inaugural one last year in South Africa, and then this year for the men's edition.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a huge event, especially for young players coming through. Under-19 has gone bigger and bigger. And this time, all games streamed and televised. It says the opportunity to get your name in front of the world. You get a big performance, you get a fantastic catch, a run out even, and everybody's watching. So the opportunity to become a star, or the opportunity to put your hand up, has just grown exponentially. And this is what they're all hoping for, to become future stars.
Missed time, but it falls safely as it goes behind square. I think one of the real fascinations people have with engaging with this event is who is going to be the next big name. As the trial by short ball continues from Kiwi Quicks. A semi-final for the first time. Is this an edge? No. Maybe the bat hitting the ground. You nearly had your wish, Fazid. You nearly got that wicket you wanted. A beautiful piece of bowling.
Yeah, short ball and then the pitch-up delivery. It's been the theme for New Zealand. There is a noise. That bat hit the ground because there's quite a noise as he plays the shot.
More shape again from Rowe. Did this just slide underneath the bat, if anything, Bazid? Or was it the bat hitting the ground?
There was a noise. Might have been the bat hitting the ground, but the umpire very confident and got a spot on.
End of the 6th over. 35 for 2. So, Bazid, I want to ask you this question. 6 years ago, Afghanistan progressed to a quarter-final, a winning quarter-final. They got to a semi-final for the first time in their history. I've given you the benefit of showing you the team. How many of that winning side back in Christchurch in 2018 that beat New Zealand by 202 runs, how many of that 11 progressed to full international honours already? So back in 2018, Afghanistan, comfortable victors over New Zealand. How many of that 11 do you reckon have gone on to full senior honours already, Bazid?
Just showing me the scorecard, I'm thinking at least 9.
Oh, well, Bazid, you're nearly top of the class. It's a B grade for you. Can't give you the full A. 10 of that 11, would you believe, have already gone on. Most famously, the likes of Ramanullah Gurbaz, Ibrahim Zidran, Qais Ahmed, Naveen ul Haku is the captain. He's gone on to play in the IPL indeed, as is Mujibur Rahman, Zahir Khan, the left arm wrist spinner too. But maybe the best name of the lot, Azmatullah Ormatzai, what a player he's turning into. He was the player of the match that day, 66 off 23. It shows how clear that pathway is from this event through to representing the senior side.
And also with developing sides, so Afghanistan, with the developing side that they've come into international cricket, they've moved up that ranking into international cricket. This tournament then becomes very, very big. Because as we mentioned, the pressure of actually performing at now a very, very big world stage for these under-90s boys. You can maybe just judge temperament a lot from here because of the fact that it's going worldwide and it's a tournament which everybody's watching and all eyes on you. So sort of the first exposure. And I'd say less experienced teams who have players come into this under-19 World Cup, they have a bigger gauge in terms of the player development. So we talked about New Zealand not really making an impact in under-19, but they've got a very settled structure in terms of domestic cricket, so they can go back, and then the development in terms of their players goes through that domestic culture or structure, whereas the teams like, say, Afghanistan, who got their domestic structure in, it's just started right now. Teams like Nepal, they think that this is a huge tournament, so the emphasis for these teams with the under-19s would be much bigger.
I mean, under the watchful eyes of the likes of Paul Wiseman, former New Zealand international himself, he's the assistant coach here, using all that experience. One of the things I adore about this tournament in particular, Bazid, is the fact that it's in the 50-over format. And the reason I say that helps generate the next set of future stars, those 10 Afghan players that have gone on to international honours have done it across all 3 formats. So if you think of that as a development funnel, you come in at the 50-over segment, you can then follow that funnel through and stay in ODI cricket at the 50-over level. You can advance your skills to the shortest format, to T20 cricket, or if you take your time a little bit longer, you can advance through to Test cricket. So that's why this funnel works so well at the youth level.
As Afghanistan,
Yeah, it is a 50-over one. I think there's room for a T20 one as well. ICC men's and women's under-19 T20 tournament, because now, you know, the formats, every format is different, and T20 obviously has made its mark, and it's very different to a 50-over game, as you said, but it is the same white ball, but it's totally different towards the way that the game is played, the way that the players approach it, and the technical aspect, and it's not the same as playing, I wouldn't say the longest format, but 50 overs is a pretty long time. You have to incorporate a lot of different skills. So I think there's the opportunity to have a T21 as well. 7 done, it's 37 for 2.
Bit of mix and match events so far in this game. 2 down for Afghanistan on 37. Seems like a decent surface. New Zealand, I think they might be missing a point here. It's trying many different things. The key is to be consistently hitting those good length areas. They've used and utilized that short ball at their advantage. Row to continue. Anything fuller has been dispatched to the boundary. Afghanistan, they just need to back themselves.
Nicely played in the end, just with the swing back into the pads.
conditions are favorable for the bowlers, but I think again the new shot on this occasion is helping on its way. Good wrist work. That is a lovely shot. Good balance at the crease. The one thing Afghanistan is doing well is capitalizing on those deliveries where they can get those boundaries going.
It's a good shot from Nand. Yeah, I do think, though, that if you're a swing bowler, if you're going to make a mistake or you're going to err, you would rather err on that full side, just to give yourself the best opportunity to get the ball to swing. But I think you're 100% right. It's just that inconsistency. You know, we talk about someone who bowls a good bouncer. You've got to follow that up with a good length delivery, and sometimes that's where New Zealand have just not quite got it right. They bowled a good bumper, and then the follow-up delivery hasn't been spot on. That's lovely timing, really is. He just let it come to him and placed it.
That's a gorgeous punch. Never try to overhit it, and that is a key if you want to bat on these surfaces. Just let the ball come to you. That's a perfect way to watch. Just watching it come on to the bat, open the face of the bat ever so slightly to beat that fielder on behind point and pierce the gap. Lovely hands and good balance.
Clarification here on the pitch. There might have been a little bit confusion as pitches have moved from 3 to 5 to 6. We are on a new surface today. This hasn't been played on here in East London as of yet. And there does appear to be a little bit more pace in it.
Yeah, it gives you an impression that it might be a bit more spongy than the rest, but it has a good carry to it.
That's the length, that's the line, and that's what New Zealand have been looking for.
Breaching the defenses on this occasion. Nothing much the batter could have done. That was a perfect delivery for a fast bowler. Just castling and wheel cutting that off stump out of the ground. Oh, that's a delight to watch. A ripper. Just enough away movement to beat that defense. That's a delight, and he's happy. Another one down for Afghanistan. You cannot blame him. Sohail Khan, Zurmatai gone on 8, undone by a ripper. 3 down on 46.
Numan Shah Aga in at number 5, and he has a massive role to play here because Afghanistan are reeling in these overcast conditions where the lights are on here at Buffalo Park. He won't be on strike because it was the final delivery of the previous over.
That's the length what I've been talking about, around that 6-meter area. Just came and then enough movement away, nicking that off stump out of the ground. Oh, he's disappointed. Has been playing really well, these two. Some glorious drives, but that was too good of a delivery.
It was perfection, wasn't it? Absolute perfection. I'm thinking the Dale Steyn delivery to Michael Vaughan all those years ago. The late swing. And sometimes as a batter, you've got to walk off the ground and not think, well, what did I do wrong? You've got to say, well, I just got outplayed today, because that was a beauty. this will hurt. He'll call for the physiotherapist or the team doctor, but this will hurt.
Yeah, some shades being squared up, literally. Crowder has been decent. I think he has been the one who's been pitching in the right areas, just giving him enough room to swing. But on this occasion, there's an extra bounce there. Ouch. I think it did hit the elbow. Ooh, brushed it.
Just clips the elbow of the bottom hand as he gets squared up. And that will bruise, and just for a moment you'll feel as though you can't hold the bat. But New Zealand have struck early. They've utilized the conditions exactly the way that they wanted to early on. They felt that there would be a little bit of sea movement. This was a brilliant catch from Jackson.
We've seen that day in, day out. This one probably just couldn't really control that full shot, but that was the feature for delivering. The best so far, I think, for the tournament. Clicked every box for a fast bowler.
I don't think he's on next. But it's a useful stretch, that, as a fast bowler, just to look after your intercostal muscles, because that's the one thing that you don't want to injure as a fast bowler. It puts you out for a long time, the old intercostals, the side. And so there's a little bit of blood flow back into the fingers, and you'll be able to feel it again, feel his hands again, which is always good news. So it would have just clipped the fleshy part rather than the bone. New Zealand have a catcher. Schroeder is the aggressor. He was the aggressor in the first match for New Zealand, and he is again. That might be a wide, and is.
There have been a lot of short stuff being bowled by the Kiwis. Just don't need to be predictable. I think just keep on pitching it up around that 6 meter area. You've got to slip in. It's not easy to drive on the up. We've seen that. And every now and then you can test the batter with a shorter delivery, just dragging it short.
Not playing today, Sneth Reddy, the Centurion from the first game. It was more than just 100. It was an incredible innings. It really was. Sweet 4.
He's playing on a different surface, having fun out there just with the bowlers. On this occasion, just the width, a little width on offer, he maximize it. Again, just getting his body behind, playing it right underneath the eyes. Lovely pose once again. To see how controlled that shot is, high elbows. Never try to overhit it, and it's a good thing that he did not went to cut it, because that's probably where he might have made an error. It's a delight to watch him.
There's barely a gap between backward point and cover. It's 13 meters, so it really is threading the needle. I'm sure it is a little in-between lens here. No doubt that he's got a useful bouncer, but the follow-up delivery, he could probably be just a touch fuller, just a little bit on the short side, and there's a nice paced surface, but that safe length where a batter can just play back and hit it just off his hips, essentially, that sort of height. Talking about that 100 that already made a couple of days ago. It was full of beautiful stroke play. There was power, there was touch. And what made it even more special is that his parents were here to witness it. Here again today in support of New Zealand, because their son is having a little breather. Nicely nudged off the hip, end of the 9th, 52 for 3.
Over. One more.
So Jamshed now going to get a look at Rowe, who's just trying to tail the ball back into the left-hander.
It's very important as a batter to know where your balance is, especially head. It's very important when you come out and bat. You need to control that head of yours. And I'm liking so far throughout this tournament, I've seen a lot of batters who have a really good balanced stance.
Five on the offside, 4 on the leg. Oh, he's bowled him. He's bowled him. It just sneaked under. It sneaked under the bat. And Afghanistan are in an awful mess here in East London.
Trying to work it to the third area. It wasn't a good option. It was very full, just trying to squeeze it. And that's where things went wrong. Again, pitching it up. Just a bit of a floater. Came back again in. And trying to work it through the offside. Squeezed it, but literally chopped on to the stumps. Another one down. Jamshed Zadran gone on 22. It was looking good. 4 down for Afghanistan on 52.
Four down now. Rahmanullah Zamati in at number 6. My, there's some work to be done here for Afghanistan. Sent in overcast conditions. Not sent in, excuse me. They chose to have a bat. They chose to have a bat. I got a little bit confused there because New Zealand wanted to bowl.
Fuller just came, nipped back in again. Closing the face of the bat is never a good idea. And that's actually what made it chop it on to the stumps.
I think Afghanistan just, they fancy that putting on a total and then using their spinners to defend. Oh, out as well. Out as well. Batting first does not seem to have been the correct option here because the ball is moving about and Afghanistan have no answer.
Well, if it's swinging and you're chasing as a batter, you're calling for all sort of troubles. But he had to play it. It swung late, got the slightest bit of outer edges, and what a magnificent catch. Another one down. Rahimullah Zarmati gone on a knot. 5 down for Afghanistan on 52.
the captain, with an awful amount to do here. Nasir Khan. So on day one, we saw Pakistan get 280. On day two, we saw New Zealand get over 300 batting first. The conditions, very, very different. Now, for the first time, suiting the bowlers. And New Zealand are making merry here. Is this out? Is this out? Just outside the line of off stump, you might feel. A big shout from behind the stumps, not so much from the big fast bowler.
Yeah, asking all the right questions, Kiwis here. But have a look at that. They were just inquiring about it. Again, pitched it up. Got some wood on it. That's the indication. There has been superb bowling from the Kiwis.
Oh, definitely not outside the line. Just a scratch, because it looked fairly adjacent. Now the bouncer. Sensational over, 52 for 5.
And they're mixing it up nicely. Hitting good lengths, fuller lengths, shorter ones on this occasion. Again, a late swing in. Yeah, got the bat before. It was quite late.
Doesn't make for good reading if you're an Afghan fan. And it could so easily have been 6 down. Because that was a very, very good shout for LBW on the captain. Power play number 2, Tawatia. So they're going to go to spin now. Is this Oscar Jackson letting Afghanistan off the hook in these conditions? Or does he know something that we don't? Probably. He's a very good leader.
I think it will grip because it's a bit of a spongy surface. It's got the grass sprinkled and rolled it in.
Oh, gee!
Yes, sometimes, you know, we just think, well, if it suits one type of bowler, it won't suit the next. But you know, you think about surfaces that are covered in grass. Every now and again, a spinner doesn't mind bowling on it. Number one, it normally gets bounced. And number two, it can just grip on thick grass. This isn't thick. You believe it's got a little bit of sponge to it.
OJ, 45 more that way. Thanks, Paul. Yeah. Sila pitch ball niya, Susan. Kaliti ba neke? Wait. Thank you.
So with us being in this power play number 2 now, the restrictions have eased somewhat. You're allowed 4 men outside that 30-yard circle now. No more than 4. New Zealand are opting to just have the 3. There's a sweeper on the offside, and then a deep square leg and a long on.
Please skip, have a slide.
Smart, very smart fielding. They're on the money here, New Zealand.
Yeah, Afghanistan, it's a hard task for these two to fight it out. But they need to bat themselves.
Tied, 53 for 5. fair to say that the first 10 overs belonged to the men in black. 5 wickets they managed. Afghanistan just that first power play. Well, what a sight that is. Dolphins in the bay.
Well, they put themselves in a spot, and very early they lost Hassan Isakhel. A brilliant catch. OJ has been superb. And then this one went very quickly. That was a peach of a delivery. Dragged it on. All sort of deliveries, all sort of dismissals we've seen. But Kiwis have managed to put Afghanistan under a huge shell.
Good catch that by Sam Clough, the wicketkeeper, coming into this match. It's his first match of this edition of the ICC Under-19 Men's World Cup. Fouled him again. He has it on a string row. A very similar delivery.
Seems like it's on a replay, a deja vu. He seemed to find a perfect spot in the pitch. Have a look at that again. Oh my God. Again, similar sort of delivery, hitting the right length, enough movement, clipping that off stump. He is having a delight.
The captain, Numan Shah, just the single. And Afghanistan 53 for 6. Half an hour ago, he would have had his feet up thinking we're in for a nice day watching the batters. But now, Momant, the leg spinner, is at the wicket with his side 6 down with just 50 on the board. And New Zealand opt for 2 slips now, with Rose swinging the ball away prodigiously from the right-hander. Oh, and again.
A spectacular piece of bowling here by Rowe. He's hitting the right length, almost like a coin when you put out there for the practice. No feet movement. He stayed a little bit squared on, exposing his stumps, and that's exactly where Rowe was targeting. Perfect length, enough swing, clips the off stump.
Just pushes at it a little bit, doesn't he? It's late swing. And is there just a touch off the surface as well, maybe?
Yeah, but if you're a batter, you need to cover your stumps. Whenever there is a touch of swing, you need to get into the line. And then if you want to leave it, you know where your off stump is.
We saw the left-arm spin of Tawatia introduced into the attack from the Bunkers Hill end. Does Oscar Jackson go for the proverbial jugular here and say, you know what, we bring Sawgas back on here. We need to bring seamers from both ends.
If I were him, I would be very intrigued to do that. Especially with the type of results Rowe is producing from that length that we've been talking about. Just consistently hitting that 6 meter, 7 meter mark. Targeting the stumps, probably 4th stump, take it away from the batter.
He's got 4 already, Rowe. A wicket maiden, 53 for 6. So the skipper, well, the last of the recognised batters, you would think there's just bowlers to come. Ghazenfar certainly is an exceptional mystery spinner. Without a doubt, a future star of Afghan cricket. But it is quite difficult for a spinner to bowl when you've got no runs on the board. Right, here we go. Skipper has said enough of the spin. It's time to reintroduce swing.
And put your foot more on the gas. When there are swinging conditions, you have to be very careful, especially where your bat is hanging and where your off stump is. And look at that. Both have exposed their off stump. Very late feet movement. Probably, if you know it's swinging, you might want to take the guard off stump, probably not off stump, middle stump. And then you should be aware, if you're leaving the ball, if it's swinging away from you, you have the luxury to leave it rather than just go and play for it.
Just after that first delivery, Sorgas was walking back to his mark, stretching his hamstring, stretching his side. It was almost if it was a little bit unexpected that he was going to get brought back on. But I'm telling you, if you're a seam bowler, you'd be looking at the captain every 2 minutes saying, what about me? Give me a bowl. This is what I pray for every day, is surfaces like this.
You've got a healthy competition going on with your colleagues as well. Rowe from one end has been nailing every delivery. You want that.
Well, Rowe, the big fast bowler, has got 4 to his name. That was the pick of them. It really was an absolute beauty. Just snuck under. And then this was a great catch. And then there's just a hint of outswing at the beginning, and then it just holds its line and knocks over the off stump. It's been a lovely bit of fast bowling. It really has.
I wonder if Afghanistan are now again reviewing their decision. They do have some decent fast bowlers, and with these conditions, they could have exploited these conditions and put New Zealand under pressure early on. But they opted to bat first, and that put them in a very tight spot with that net run rate.
That's next up.
Big gap at extra cover. Well, Rowe's got 4, and he's probably thinking, well, the last New Zealand seamer that had success was Clark in the previous game, and he got 3, and he got given a breather. He's probably thinking, well, I hope I don't get left out for producing the goods here. New Zealand selectors obviously opting to give everyone a go inside these group stages, making sure that everyone is ripe and ready and in form for if they progress. End of the 13th, 54 for 6.
Afghanistan are in deep strife here at Buffalo Park. They'll be hoping for some inspiration from a magical moment from Mujib Rahman back in 2018 at the Hagley Oval. Absolute superstar Mujib Rahman, and he is the inspiration that Afghanistan are going to require today, because it doesn't look like they're going to defend too many today, Baz.
Yeah, Gurbaz, Zadran, Omar Zay all got runs, and they got to 309 for 6. They'll need some of that inspiration with their batting as well. They've batted first with the belief that if they get runs on the board, they won't allow New Zealand to chase anything down. But at the moment, they've not got anywhere near what they would have wanted. They still need to scrap. They need to get as many as they want, but this guy with the ball has made it talk and made it very difficult for the Afghan batters.
Really impressive spell here by Young Rowe. He's charged in, bustling with energy. Do some really fantastic delivery.
Oh, yeah.
15 deliveries, 4 wickets. No runs against Rowe thus far.
You reckon you want to bowl all 10 up front, because the way that he's going right now, the rhythm that he's got, beating the bat for fun, it just seems as if there's a wicket every other delivery.
That's another big appeal, and he gets the decision. That's a 5-wicket haul.
Yeah, just brilliant bowling yet again. Is this spell of 16 deliveries, and he's got a fifer. Left-hander, ball coming back in. Yes, it's a magnificent spell. Beautiful delivery, swinging back into the pads, and deservedly so. This has been an exhibition of high quality swing and seam bowling. Afghanistan, well, they lose another. Captain goes for just one. It's 54 now for 7.
You better Hassan Far for Afghanistan. He's faced with an almighty challenge. Rowe's been excellent for New Zealand.
Couple of slips now. There's think another one coming in, and why not? Because of the fact that the ball's swinging to the offside and coming back in. Couple of slips and a gully. Rowe, he's got it on a string.
Absolutely beautiful.
Was drifting in, taking out the leg stump. And umpire Forster Matiza, he held up his hand. 5 for 18 so far for Rowe. Trent Bolt with 7 for 20 is right at the top of the list. New Zealand under 19. New Zealand under 19 World Cup's best figures. Trent Bolt 7 for 20. We've got Saudi with 5 for 11. Dean Bartlett with 5 for 30. And right now, coming to the end of his 7th over, he's still got 3 overs after this. 5 for 18 for Rowe. And the way that he's bowling, you won't count against him getting a couple more. Into the leg side, a single taken, but another successful over from Rowe. Afghanistan 55 for 7. Sorry card there for Afghanistan. It's only Zadran who managed to hold out the onslaught from Sogas and the main man, Rowe. Ryan Sogas, he's certainly played his part and given those travelling Black Cap supporters plenty to cheer about today. Sogas from Wellington College, and also particularly Brooklyn Junior Cricket Club down in the suburbs of Wellington. They would have stayed up and really celebrated this young man today, starting out there in the junior leagues, Brooklyn Junior Cricket Club. Running away. That's excellent fielding by New Zealand. They've been good in all departments. Afghanistan probably deciding now just to throw the bat at it. He's done really well. Make sure that he got down and saved that boundary. Oscar Jackson, as always, leading from the front. Short that time will be given a wide. Yeah, talked about Sorgas, and apparently his main strength is bowling at the death. I don't know if he'll get the opportunity today, but he comes with a reputation of bowling a great Yorker, and his defensive bowling skills are what people talk about it. But right now it's still the new ball and still needs to just bang away at shorter length. Running away for a couple. Seeing that Afghanistan are going to wield the long handle, try and get as much as they can, to at least give the bowlers something to defend. Yeah, Gazanfar taking it upon himself to get runs. He's just making sure that he swings as hard as he can, give himself something to bowl at. In the air, almost carried.
There are 6 members of the Wellington side in this New Zealand team. They would have arrived at Buffalo Park this morning and had a look up in the sky and thought, we must be at the Basin Reserve today.
That's one. Batsman, that's one.
Basin Reserve has a weird tradition where cyclists use it as a pedestrian crossing during the week, and they do ride around the field and over the ground. Often practices have to stop for the cyclists because it's there right away. That has been smashed down the ground, and some relief for Afghanistan as they go to 64 for 7 after 15 overs.
Was already ready to swing away. The slow one picked up well and thumped down the ground.
Rowe, very much the standout figure, 5 for 19. So there's 3 to go.
Gazanfar's decided that he'll have a swing. Oman, on the other hand, might just make sure that he rotates a strike over. They've got so many overs to play with, but they've got to find what suits them right now. It's a position where they don't really have anything to lose as two late order batters. They just need to get as many as possible and give them an outside chance. Right now they'd be thinking. There's another appeal. There's a sound. Yeah, umpire just says that it's come off the pad.
Austin Matisse not going to be intimidated by the big appeal. It sounded like just brushed the trouser going past. Task for the Afghanistan batting unit in the World Cup thus far. Been able to form any partnerships since they've been in South Africa. Coach Imran Fahd looking perplexed at what has transpired today. And his mentor, Graham Parsons,
wide signal straight away. New Zealand were up. But because the wide was signaled straight away, straight off, the appeal died down. This should be interesting because Gazanfar is going to swing. He's going to swing from the hip. A couple of deliveries going down leg side, so the opportunity maybe to put a leg slip in. There you go, he's going to swing. This should be interesting. It's just beat the bat a couple of times, but no edge right now. He's up there. 5 for 21, still going. Trent Bolt, 7 for 20. Tim Southey, 5 for 11, so he's made his way up to two illustrious bowlers. 5 for 21, he still could get another or an even couple more.
If he goes on to have half of the careers of either of those two above him, he won't be a bad bowler. He's already shown that he's quite a fantastic young seamer for New Zealand.
Yeah, beautiful with the ball swinging back in, and also the ones seaming into the right-hander. He's got it to go both ways. And once you do that with control, you're going to test any batting unit. Immense control with the ball swinging either way. And that's 3 strikes. Tried to belt all 3 and beaten all 3 times. 66 for 7.
Been the downfall of Afghanistan, just not able to create any partnerships of value. They've only had 2 over 50 throughout their time in South Africa. Captain Oliver Jackson into the attack. Excellent in the previous game against Nepal. The New Zealand skipper picked up 3 wickets.
There's been a procession really down the leg side. We're given a wide. At one stage, Afghanistan were 46 for 2, and they've lost 5 for 8. And 33, and then you look 6-0-1-1.
We do know how Rana Safar he's going to go about this task. Afghanistan at least need to look to try and rotate the strike, try and get the New Zealand bowlers to change up their lines and lengths to the different batters. We've seen Afghanistan this missed for just 103 in the previous game, so they're wanting to at least get to the 25th over and even close to 30 to at least give their bowlers something to have something to bowl at. That is the Afghanistan mentor, the experienced Gordon Parsons. He's former Leicestershire pro, spent plenty of time in South Africa, married to Hansie Cronje, the late Hansie Cronje's sister, so very much a son of the soil down in Africa now. Coached the Lions, coached Northwest. Afghanistan brought him in for his experience, the local conditions. You can see just how disappointed he is at the moment with his team's performance.
Yeah, just talking to Afghanistan management before this game, and they were thinking that yes, they got out for 103 in the previous game, but there was the pressure of the chase, and we need to release that from the players, so they decide to bat first. Hasn't worked either.
Over.
79, it's 67 for 7.
You know that Afghanistan, they won't give up until the very end. Courageous. They'll fight, try to squeak out as many as they can.
So we had a game yesterday, Australia-Namibia. In the air, this should be out, and his cotton ball bang into the pitch. Gazanfar has another swing, and it goes nowhere. Afghanistan now lose their 8.
Yerval Schroeder, we've seen in the previous games, he loves to bang it in. We've seen Afghanistan married to
8.
Yerval Schroeder, we've seen in the previous games, he loves to bang it in. His very first delivery, short, and went straight up. He made good ground to complete the catch.
Gazanfar with the boundary in his 9, it's 67 for 8.
Khalil Ahmed, he'll be trying to help Afghanistan avoid the lowest score of 87 at ICC Under-19 World Cups.
Yeah, into the pitch, and he was always going to swing, but too much pace this time around. The left armour made it his responsibility to take the cotton ball and did it well, but it was all in the pace and banging it into the wicket. And New Zealand now looking to wrap this up fairly quickly. 67 for 8. It's the ideal result that they've got after having been made to bowl first.
Schroeder does have one arrow in his quiver. It's fairly predictable that he's going to go short. It's another task of being able to overcome the challenge. I wouldn't say that dressing room has Afghanistan 68 for 8. Still very focused on the task ahead, wanting to finish the job. Umpire Matiza Not interested on this occasion. Just going down leg side and a little bit high. Beautiful from shoulder, showing that there are different options in his arsenal.
Yeah, yet again, it's all about the fast bowling. Even in the previous game, it was about the new ball bowlers and the bowlers that would hit the deck hard for New Zealand. That seems as if is their strength. Down the leg side, this time tickled away. This might just get to the boundary. Yes, it does. Leg byes.
Effort. Time fence. Stackpole's already taken a brilliant catch at this World Cup. It's up in the air. Goes down safely to third man. It's the end of another successful over for New Zealand. Afghanistan 73 for 8 after 18.
Well, Afghanistan have it all to do in terms of batting their overs, let alone posting what may be a defendable total. They've lost wickets with great regularity, and New Zealand have been in an inspired form with the ball. This goes into the sky just agonizingly over the head of the backward point fielder. They're going to take on a second. The throw has gone to the wrong end. May have been interesting if it went to the non-striker's end, as I wish a very good morning to HD Akam.
Yeah, good morning, Andrew, and good morning to all our viewers. Yep, definitely went to the wrong end. The only problem is there was no one at the non-striker's end. The bowler doesn't attempt to get back. Mid-on and mid-off stand dead still, so it would have had to be a direct hit. You know, and in performances like this so far, you think as a coaching group, well, how do we get better? And I think that as a coaching group, those are the kind of things that will get spoken about to New Zealand. If we want to do what no other New Zealand team has done in this tournament, we need to improve those little things, those little 1%ers, and maybe the occasional wide.
This has gone a long way up. Two men converge underneath it. It's been held onto, and a calamity has hopefully been avoided as well. I think it's Stackpole who's taken the catch. Let's hope Schroeder is okay.
Well, what a catch this is again from Stackpole. We saw him take a beauty the other day. And this had Steve Waugh and Jason Gillespie all over it. But I think he's going to be okay. But that is a brilliant catch from Stackpole again. And Khalil Ahmed goes for 3. They're almost done, Afghanistan. They're 75 for 9.
Well, a few concerns for Schroeder. It looks like it's his arm that has taken the majority of that impact. Let's hope it's just an external injury with, as you can see there, a little bit of skin taken off the elbow. How difficult is it to hold on to a catch like this when you have a teammate coming right at you? Coaching staff are on their feet.
Yeah, well, the big thing is I don't think either knew that the other was converging on him, and that's probably why Stackpole's held on to it, because if he had seen Schroeder coming and taken his eyes off the ball there just for a moment, it probably would have been grasped. It's a brilliant catch. But I think what's happened to Schroeder here is he just got a little grass burn, taken some skin off, and they'll sort that out.
Every single one of the 16 teams in ICC events these days, they all have a team doctor with them. So it's not just the physio down, it's also the team doctor, which is good to see. Exactly 4 moments like that. And yeah, he's writhing in pain. Smiling faces on the crew. The doctor. HD, I know naturally the instinct will be to talk about Afghanistan's decision at the toss. But even with slightly more difficult batting conditions, where has it gone wrong for them here? The application hasn't been there. Number 11, Bashir Ahmed in early.
The ball's moved around, and the ability to play the moving ball, you know, again, I think about where Afghanistan play most of their matches. Their senior team plays a lot in the United Arab Emirates. This team would have played, you know, a lot in Asia. And that's why sometimes you've just got to go out of your comfort zone a little bit and make the tours to places like a South Africa or an Australia or a New Zealand, just to play in conditions that are completely foreign to you, because playing on surfaces where the ball moves around a little bit is completely different to playing on something which doesn't move around. It might have a different type of pace to it, but there's no lateral movement. And so sometimes these conditions are completely foreign to some of the visiting